By now, you've probably heard that TikTok's in trouble.
The U.S. Senate just voted unanimously to ban TikTok from government phones.
A growing number of schools and universities are banning the popular app TikTok.
At least 14 states have taken action to ban TikTok.
And how the social media app is
It's a safety and security threat to the American people.
Controlled by the Chinese government.
An evidence-gathering, data-gathering machine.
Our innermost secrets, privacy, security are at stake here.
While TikTok is grappling with a sense of impending doom these days, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle believe the app, owned by a Chinese company, is spying on Americans. But how concerned should we be about using it?
Different people have different concerns with TikTok, but the national security focus is generally on three matters.
This is Graham Webster, a research scholar at the Stanford Cyber Policy Center, where he leads the DigiChina project, which analyzes Chinese digital policy documents and discourse.
Could TikTok be used by the Chinese government to collect information on American citizens, either in kind of live action or after the fact? The idea being they may not be in the app right now, but possibly they could gain access to it later. The second issue is whether the Chinese government or other bad actors could get into the TikTok algorithm and affect which types of content get shown to whom, thereby potentially affecting basically opinion manipulation. And the third is classic cybersecurity. Is the app itself secure? Is it something that's going to compromise or otherwise mess up a person's device and lead to other security problems? For a regular user, TikTok is really not very much different from any other platform that you're going to be using right now. The national security concerns are, at this point, rare cases have been suggested in the past, or they're completely imagined at this point. There's no evidence of mass opinion manipulation. There's no evidence of bulk data collection yet. It's not totally impossible that it's happened or that it could happen in the future, but this isn't something that we know of already.
To deal with these concerns, TikTok's China-based parent company, ByteDance, is spending a lot of money trying to convince its critics. The company poured more than $1 billion into Project Texas, an effort to rebuild the app on US-based servers, in order to separate ByteDance from China as much as possible.
Project Texas is essentially the TikTok internal code name for their solution to try to reach a deal with the US government. And there's this interagency group called the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, CFIUS, who are tasked with both evaluating transactions like this and many other types of things. If it's a foreign company buying a factory, they examine and say, are there national security risks? So they're trying to navigate that using Project Texas, which is a whole thicket of proposed arrangements.
What I can commit to is that our final agreement with the U.S. government will satisfy all national security concerns.
There's reason not to trust TikTok, both because it's a big tech company trying to make money and because there is a particular security concern with the Chinese government. The average user shouldn't be concerned, but people who are Chinese or ethnic Chinese and may be expressing things about the Chinese government and may have family inside of China, it's not unreasonable to worry about being targeted. There's a difference between the average user and somebody who might reasonably be targeted, like a US national security person or somebody with ties to China. And so the question is, can TikTok and ByteDance come to an arrangement with the US government that effectively blocks these types of risks and, satisfies US officials?
While it's not clear if the plan will go through, Webster says TikTok isn't the only big tech company people should be wary of.
It's all a matter of who has risk and where that risk is located. And I think people across the whole society should be more careful about that, and not just with China, because remember, we're having this huge conversation about TikTok because it's popular, because everyone knows about it, because it's owned by a Chinese company. There are hundreds and thousands of different apps on the Apple and Google app stores. There's still trackers and all sorts of spyware that gets through in those apps, and people download them because the game is fun or because the function is interesting. Huge amounts of data are being pilfered and stored about people because they downloaded a weather app that has 15 different ad networks coursing through it. This is ripe for exploitation. The whole economy is just, leaving us out there to be analyzed. We just don't have national policy on this, whether it's TikTok, whether it's one of these weather apps that just, make all of their money by cramming ads in there and they care nothing about your data security. I think Americans deserve real regulation and real enforcement of their right to privacy. TikTok is not no risk. There are things to be really dealt with, but it's not unique at all. And it ought to be dealt with rationally and comprehensively across the whole economy.